Walt Disney's classic storybook, a treasury of tales. We got Dumbo on a ball. Table of contents. Sleeping Beauty, Mary Poppins, Dumbo, Goofy movie star, Mickey Mouse's Picnic, Ben and Me, Lady, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Peter Pan, Bambi, Cinderella, Chip and Dale at the Zoo, Once Upon a Winter Time, Scamp's Adventure, Alice in Wonderland, Pinocchio, The Sword in the Stone. We are going to be reading Sleeping Beauty by Walt Disney. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, a princess was born. The happy king and queen named their daughter Aurora. They invited everyone in the kingdom to the palace to celebrate her birth, except the evil fairy Maleficent. The wicked fairy was so angry about being left out that she appeared at the party with a flash of lightning and a crash of thunder. Then she put a curse on the princess. Before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, Maleficent promised, she shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die. Then in a burst of green smoke, she disappeared. Fortunately, 3 good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, were there too. As soon as Maleficent vanished, they tried to soften the curse. "Sweet princess," declared Merryweather, "not in death, but just in sleep. The fateful prophecy you'll keep, and from this slumber you shall wake. When true love's kiss the spell shall break." Then the fairies disguised themselves as peasant women and promised not to use their magic. They would raise the baby in a cottage in the woods and keep her identity a secret until the night of her 16th birthday. The years passed quickly, and the princess grew into a sweet and lovely girl. She knew 3 fairies only as her aunts, and they called her Briar Rose. Her true identity remained a secret. Even though Maleficent had her men search the kingdom, they did not find the princess. Briar Rose's only friends were the birds, squirrels, rabbits, and other animals in the forest. She was never lonely, but often told her animal friends about her dream of meeting a handsome young man and falling in love. Then, on the day of her 16th birthday, the princess's dream came true. A prince named Philip was riding through the woods and heard her singing. "Do you hear that? How beautiful," he said to his horse, Samson. Prince Philip asked his horse to ride toward the sound. Before long, he found Briar Rose dancing with her animal friends. The prince asked Briar Rose for a dance. At first, she hesitated. The prince asked Briar, "It's just that you're a stranger," she said. Briar Rose had been told not to talk to anyone except her aunts. Then Prince and Briar Rose did dance together. Before either of them knew it, they had fallen in love. They sang and danced some more. They walked through the forest all afternoon. Briar Rose had no idea that the stranger was a prince from a neighboring kingdom, and Prince Philip did not suspect that she was really a princess. Meanwhile, back in their cottage, the 3 good fairies tried to plan a birthday surprise for Briar Rose without using magic. Fauna tried to whip up a fancy cake while Flora and Merryweather tried to sew on an elegant dress. But the cake was a disaster, and the dress looked terrible. Merryweather decided to get the wands. Using magic, the fairies were able to get everything ready quickly. The cake baked itself, and the dress was perfect, but when they used their wands, colorful sparks came out of the chimney. Maleficent Crow saw them and flew off to the evil fairy. Meanwhile, Briar Rose arrived back at the cottage. She told the fairies about the handsome stranger she'd met. Then the fairies told Briar Rose that her real name was Princess Aurora and that she would be returning to the castle that evening. Aurora followed the fairies to the palace. There the king and queen and all their subjects eagerly awaited her. Everyone believed Aurora had escaped Maleficent's curse. No one knew that the evil fairy had learned Aurora's secret and was waiting for the princess too. At the palace, the fairies brought Aurora upstairs. Flora waved her magic wand, and a golden crown appeared on Aurora's head. Although the princess was excited to see her mother and father, she was sad because she didn't think she'd ever get to see the handsome stranger again. The moment the fairies left Aurora alone, Maleficent appeared. She put the princess in a trance and led her up a winding staircase. At the top, Aurora opened the door and walked toward a gleaming spinning wheel. "Touch the spindle, touch it, I say," Maleficent ordered. The princess obeyed. She pricked her finger and fell to the floor. Moments later, the good fairies found the sleeping princess. They began to weep. "The king and queen will be heartbroken when they find out," Merryweather sobbed. "They're not going to," replied Flora. The fairies flew through the palace and put everyone else to sleep too. Then they set off to find the one person who could break the evil spell, the handsome stranger Aurora had met in the woods. When Prince Philip heard the news, he raced toward the castle. Maleficent was not about to let him rescue the princess. She used her magic to create a giant forest of thorns around the palace. The good fairies gave Philip a magical sword and a shield, and the valiant prince slashed at the thorns. When he got close to the castle, Maleficent turned herself into an enormous, fire-breathing dragon. Still, she was no match for the prince and the fairies' magic. Using all his strength, Prince Philip aimed his sword at the dragon's heart. With this mighty blow, the dragon was no more. Prince Philip ran through the castle to the room where the princess slept. He knelt by Aurora's side and gently kissed her. Slowly, Aurora's eyes opened. She smiled when she saw the handsome stranger from the forest. He was her one true love. Aurora sat up and took Prince Philip's hand. From that moment on, they lived happily ever after. The end.